Right back away.
Fire it up, Greg. All right, so we're going to be working on this pressure washer tonight. Pretty new pressure washer. It's got really old gas in it. I can smell it from here. So we're going to be replacing the carburetor on it. Also, the fuel tank's full, so we are going to drain the fuel tank. And this gasoline in it is just regular pump gas. We're going to switch it over to ethanol-free gas. And you may remember this guy. That's Brad. Brad was with me when we picked up the Bronco way back in the day. So if you haven't seen that one, we picked up a 1972 Bronco. Brad was there. We went to the farm.
Right there.
It's right there behind us, covered up. So this says it's a Ford pressure washer. It's not. It's just one of these side shaft Chinese engines. It's basically the same as if you saw the go-kart video we did, where we put on an Ironton engine, a new engine from Northern Tool on a go-kart. It's basically the same engine as that. So we're gonna take it apart and get it fixed up tonight.
Nice.
All right, Brad, you can start with pull those bolts off on that side. We're gonna take the tank off first, get the old gas out of it.
How do you dispose of bad gas? Well, I stand
I'm not
outside.
gonna put that on video. Depending on how old it is, you can also run something that doesn't require very high quality gas, like a push mower or not a new overhead valve. This is an overhead valve. Got an engine, you don't want to run it something like this, but like the old Briggs and Strattons, you know?
Sure, yeah.
You can run almost anything.
Well, I have an old Briggs and Stratton that doesn't run.
Well, there you go. Pour it in there. It won't hurt it.
But, I mean, yeah, but it doesn't run.
I know, that's why it won't hurt it. Exactly. All right, so we're going to remove the gas tank. We took out a bolt on this side. There's also 2 nuts on that side. Once we have those out, then we can pull this off. I'm unhooking a couple of the lines here. Now I'm going to pull the gas line off of the carburetor. Then we're going to empty the tank into this empty fuel jug here. Okay.
Ignoring it. Well, I'll be here for a while.
We have to use the bathroom too.
That's right. No, I might if this keeps running.
All right, while he is emptying that out, I'll show you what we're gonna do here to remove this carburetor. All right, we got the gas empty. So on the carburetor here, we're gonna be taking these 2 very long bolts that go all the way through the carburetor body and this plastic assembly. We already took off the fuel line here, and then we got 2 vent tubes on this side. So we're gonna pull all those off and then get this carburetor replaced. You could clean the carburetor. Nowadays, I just replace them a lot of times because you can buy the carburetor for like $25-30. How much does it cost?
$27 on eBay.
$27, or we could clean this one. That would probably take us an hour or 2. But I do usually keep the carburetors because sometimes you find that the replacement ones are different quality, not necessarily better, not necessarily worse. But I always keep this one around until I decide if I actually like the new carburetor.
I really didn't think it was going to. It's good.
So far we've run into 8s and 10s metric on this one. I always use my deep socket set because then I don't have to go and get one whenever I need it. So I use them for 90% of the stuff I do.
The other 10% he uses his hand.
That's right.
It's just...
All right, so 2 nuts here. And a really long post that go all the way through the car body. We already pulled the fuel line off when we emptied that tank. If you're having fuel problems, it's most likely that you are using ethanol-based gas. The ethanol-based gas ends up with this green crud inside of it and also absorbs water into it. So a lot of problems with that for stuff that sits.
Mm-hmm.
All right, on this side, we're pulling off 2 vents. One is attached to this assembly, which we removed the other side earlier. And then the other one goes right here in by the valves. Okay, so we pull off this plastic assembly. And we just set that to the side. This gets us to our carburetor itself. This also doesn't have any bolts in it because it's going all the way through these long studs.
Yeah, that's nice.
And then we have our linkage back here in the back. So we have 2 pieces of linkage. So we're gonna do it with the camera here, and you can use this as a reference as well. So we got the little spring on the bottom side is going into this first hole, and then we have the long rod is going into this upper section, and most likely facing down. Yeah, it's facing down in there. So if you get one and these are already taken off, or you took them off and forgot how they go, there's a clear picture for you of the way that they are supposed to be on there. Now can you smell more of that gas? It's like it burns your eyes. Yeah. It's like really alcohol-y.
Yep.
All right, so we've got our carburetor off. Front side here. This is our fuel shutoff, which I am interested to see if the new one he purchased has that on there. Fuel line goes on here, and then it also has the choke built into it. So we'll see if all this is on that carburetor as well. So fuel shutoff and choke. If you are rebuilding one of these, if you've never done it before, I'll give you a quick tutorial. You'll pull this, you can drain the fuel if you want, but you'll take this big nut out. The bowl comes off. Below that you got the float, and you got the needle and seat. And so if it's leaking out of here, a lot of times the needle and seat is stuck. And you will then clean all the passageways, and I always blow them out with compressed air. If you don't, you're going to be cleaning it another time. So we're not going to do that on this one. We're just going to swap it out. So let's go ahead and take a look. All right, so Brad, where'd you buy this carburetor? On eBay?
Yeah.
So this one came from eBay, and we'll just give it a quick once over. One thing I can see is that, do you have a gasket in your hand there? Come with any gaskets?
No.
It didn't come with any gaskets, so we don't have the...
Oh, wait. Yeah, it did.
Oh, gaskets in the box.
Gasket in the box.
Good. We got the gaskets. Actually, it did come with the gaskets. It does have the fuel shut off. This one is made by Zon Sin, and this one is made by Jing Long. If you need one of these, $27 includes the choke lever and the gaskets. So that's why we don't rebuild carbs very often anymore on these little, what is this, a pressure washer?
Pressure washer.
Snow blower.
Pressure washer. It's okay. Snow blower.
That's why we don't rebuild carbs on these small engines like this pressure washer here.
Yeah.
Or snow blower if you're up north.
Or in Florida.
Or in Florida.
Because you can probably guarantee you're going to have really bad gas in those.
Only at the Mexican restaurant. All right, so...
Yes.
This is why it's important to keep the old parts around. We're going to throw this lever on here. I like the quality of the original one. I'm going to swap it.
Yeah, I like the color of the original.
Brad likes the color. I like the quality. I can just feel this plastic is a little bit more brittle and thin. Yeah. So we're going to just swap it out.
There you go. Nice.
And we'll keep that lever around for in case this yellow one breaks at some point. And got a couple of gaskets. We still have our old gasket on here, but we will go ahead and replace it.
Do you normally replace all the gaskets?
Anything they give us that's easy to get to, I'll usually replace it.
Okay.
And that's why.
Oh, it ripped.
Well, yeah, it's just old.
Yeah.
So we got the old gasket off. I just used a blade because there was part of it stuck on there. Just do it really careful because this is all plastic.
Yeah.
A little bit different than back in the day. All right, so we slid the new carb on here. We just put the lever on from the old one here for the choke, just a little bit. Brad likes it, it's yellow. I like that it's a little bit better quality plastic. We hooked up the 2 rods on the top. So we got this larger rod goes directly into this hole. You have to actually rotate the throttle here.
The light.
And get that lined up, and then you push it straight down. We got the little spring here on the top. We did put the base gasket on it here. Then we're going to slide the whole thing in place. And that's all we have to do for right now on this. Fuel line is here. We're going to hook that up in a moment. We've got 2 vent tubes that are going to hook up on this side, but we have to add the plastic front portion back on here. All right, so it has a factory metal gasket with a rubber gasket built into the middle of it. All right, so we got that on there. We're going to line up different parts as we come on here.
Oh, oops, hold on. You don't want to put the...
Oh yeah. So we're gonna flip the fuel shut off out. We're gonna watch the choke, and then while we put it on, I'm gonna actually slide on these vent tubes on the back side. We'll do the fuel in a minute because we don't have the tank on right now. All right, then just start putting nuts back on. Make sure you don't end up with any extras. A lot of times people tell us, oh, got these extra ones left over. That's a problem. Okay, 2 nuts on the front. These don't have to be super tight. Remember, this is plastic. They should be snug, but you're not going to crank them way down. All right, now this can come. So with the fuel line, it went underneath this bracket. We didn't pull all the brackets off. We just slid it back on. Now I'm going to rotate this little clamp. There we go. Now I feel pretty good about that. You can see where the fitting ends up here.
Yep.
So we should be good. We'll just keep an eye on that, make sure. Got this vent actually goes into the other side of this. And then this, these 2 ports actually plug in here on the bottom. So
you could have went to AutoZone with me, and you could have done a Ford Edge. There's that.
we don't really need more than this for now.
Okay. Properly disposed of.
I don't have any more weeds. All right, we got the choke on.
Yep. Gas
Gas is on. We're gonna check for leaks here first.
started on.
Keep my hand here for a second.
Good.
Wait. And you got your switch on?
Yep.
Power switch is on.
Okay.
New carburetor.
Should I back away right away?
Fire it up, Brad.
Okay.
So there you go. 27. How much did it cost? 27 bucks. And we probably did this in 30 minutes.
Yep.
And now she's running like a gym. That's why I usually just buy these carburetors. I could have spent an hour, 2 hours cleaning that all out. Sometimes you put them back on, you missed a passage or something like that. But with the price of these Chinese carburetors now, it just makes sense to buy when you get all the gaskets and everything else you need there. So we got Brad's pressure washer fired up.
Yeah.
And now he's ready to go and do some work. Pressure wash the house.
Yes. The driveway.
Pressure wash the driveway.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. If you need any of these parts, we got links down below.
Thank you.